really helps us to create those kind of engagements that give us that support in the deep myofascial line all the way up into the neck. And now we're going to do a little bit of work with the head and neck. And last week in class, we worked with figure 8, the sideways lazy 8 or infinity sign. And we started with doing just some eye movements. Today, we're going to actually trace that infinity sign with the nose. So we're going to actually move the head in this figure 8 and allow the eyes and gaze to follow the movement of the head. So we'll start, and I think it'll look opposite to you on the video from what I'm doing, but we're going to start by going upward to the left. And just kind of a small figure 8, coming back to center, upwards to the right, back to center. And we're just going to do this movement. Hands can be resting gently on your knees. Breath is at your own natural rhythm. And notice if you can begin to make the circles of the 8 a little bit bigger. And you can even notice if it feels different from one side to the other. If there's any discomfort at all with this, go back to a very small movement or just with the eye movement. This work is also very calming for the nervous system. It's integrating to both hemispheres of the brain. And let's reverse that by going now down to the right and up, back to center and down to the left, and up and back to center, to the right, down to the left. And you may notice there's a difference for you going upwards versus going down. And that's okay, it's just noticing. Allow the gaze to follow the head movement. And let's do one more. And I don't know about you guys, but I noticed a lot of activation in these neck muscles, both on the front and back of the neck as I'm trying that movement. I can feel the connection into the sternum and the collarbones. I can feel the connection into the tops of the shoulder blades. And so it's just kind of an interesting thing to feel. And definitely for myself, I can feel that one way of moving, it seems to be more balancing to my nervous system. The other way is a little more challenging and not quite as balancing. So for me, perhaps that means it's good for me to practice doing it both ways until they're both balancing and feel a little more smooth in movement. So just take note of how that felt for you, and also take a moment to feel if you can notice any heat or tingling or buzzing around the throat and shoulders, maybe even into the cranium, and just notice that we've kind of activated this whole energy center as well. So we're going to do a movement that will help maybe give us a little bit of connection to that omohyoid muscle that we were talking about at the beginning of class. So we're going to take our right hand, place the fingertips, if you can reach, at the top of the shoulder blade. And maybe if you have trouble reaching that area, just, allow the fingertips to rest on the top of the shoulder. I think you'll still be able to feel this. And we're going to turn our heads away from the arm that we're crossing the body with. So we're going to use our shh breath, and we're going to keep our pelvis forward. The only thing we're going to move is the head as we turn and do the shh. Only going as far as is comfortable for your neck and head. Inhaling the head back to center. And now just kind of press with the first and second fingers into the top of the shoulder blade. And inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling back. And as we exhale, we're engaging that core just as we usually do, pressing into that point on the scapula, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling back to center, and then release. And just take a moment to notice how both shoulders feel. And then let's try that on the other side. So this time I'm using my left hand on my right shoulder blade, pressing into the pointer and middle finger right along the top of the shoulder blade if I can reach there. If you can't reach there, just allow the fingertips to rest on the top of the shoulder. Inhaling and exhaling to turn only the head, engaging those core muscles as we breathe. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling. Inhaling back to center. And one more breath. And inhaling back to center, releasing both hands to your knees. And just taking a moment again to check in. Checking in with the upper chest, the upper back, with the neck, with the head. And noticing how you feel. And then I'd like for us to move into a seated twist, but we're going to take the blanket stack down a little bit. I like to do this twist with just one blanket. So I'm going to set the other three behind me. I'm going to have one that I'm sitting on, and I'm going to have one that goes under my knees. So we can actually, we'll do this twist. We'll save that blanket for a minute. We'll do this twist with crossed legs. And you can have the blocks for support if you like. Let's uncross the legs and cross them the other way. Activate that nervous system a little bit differently. So we were starting to work into this twist with our little who breath and using that landmark of the scapula. So we're going to do something very similar. And basically, we're going to engage that core with an exhalation. Sorry, let me reverse this. Taking an inhalation, exhaling. As we begin to twist, we can place one hand on the mat next to us with the fingertips pointing outward. It can be resting on your blanket or on the mat. We're going to use that activation of the low right pelvis, inner pelvic shell, low left belly.